Welcome to British Accent Podcast. Hello and welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Emma, and today I'm joined by
James. Hello, everyone. We're so excited about today's topic because it's something that many English learners struggle with: small talk.
Yes, small talk is one of those things that might seem simple, but it can be quite tricky to master. Whether it's chatting with a colleague, making conversation with a stranger, or even networking, knowing what to say and how to say it is key.
Exactly. So in this episode, we're going to break down small talk step by step. We'll cover the best topics, how to start a conversation naturally, and how to keep it going without feeling awkward.
And of course, we'll also share some useful phrases and tips to help you sound more confident and natural when making small talk in English.
Right. So, let's dive in. How do you start a great small talk conversation?
Well, the first step is knowing how to open a conversation naturally. A simple greeting is always a great way to start. You can say things like, "Hi, how's your day going?" Or "Lovely weather today, isn't it?"
That's right. Talking about the weather is a classic British way to start small talk. But if you're in a different setting, like at work, you might start with something related to the situation, like "How's your project coming along?" Or "Busy day today, isn't it?"
Exactly. And once the conversation has started, the next challenge is keeping it going. One of the best ways to do this is by asking open-ended questions. Instead of just saying, "Did you have a good weekend?" you can ask, "What did you get up to over the weekend?"
That's a great tip. Open-ended questions encourage the other person to share more instead of just replying with a simple yes or no. And if they do give a short answer, you can always follow up with something like, "Oh, that sounds interesting. Tell me more about it."
Exactly. Another important part of small talk is showing that you're engaged. That means using active listening skills, like nodding, making small responses like, "Oh, really?" or "That's interesting," and even mirroring the other person's tone and energy.
Yes. And what about those moments when you don't know what to say next? I think one useful trick is to relate the conversation back to the person. For example, if someone says they love traveling, you can ask, "Oh, where's the best place you've ever been?" Or, "Do you have any trips planned?"
Great point. People love talking about themselves, so keeping the focus on them is a good way to avoid awkward silences. And speaking of awkward moments, what should you do if the conversation starts to feel a bit forced?
Good question. If that happens, one trick is to introduce a new topic. You can do this smoothly by saying, "That reminds me," or "Speaking of that, have you heard about?" It helps transition the conversation naturally.
That's a great strategy. Another one is to make a light-hearted comment about the situation you're in, like "It's so busy here today." Or, "I never know what to order at this cafe." That can open the door for the other person to respond.
Yes, and before we move on, let's quickly talk about topics to avoid. In general, it's best to steer clear of controversial subjects like politics, religion, or personal finances unless you know the person well.
Absolutely. Instead, stick to neutral and positive topics like hobbies, travel, food, or entertainment. You can never go wrong with, "Have you seen any good movies lately?" Or "Do you have any favorite restaurants around here?"
Brilliant. Now, let's go over some real-life small talk scenarios so our listeners can hear these tips in action.
All right, let's imagine a scenario where you're at a coffee shop, waiting for your order, and you want to start a conversation with someone next to you. James, why don't you play the role of the other person?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, clears throat. "Oh wow, the line is really long today."
Laughs, yeah. I was just thinking the same thing. Must be the morning rush.
"Yeah, definitely. Do you come here often?"
Yeah, pretty much every morning before work. They do the best cappuccinos. How about you?
"Oh, I'm trying this place for the first time. I've heard great things about their pastries. Have you ever tried them?"
Oh, you have to try their croissants. They're amazing, flaky, buttery, just perfect.
That sounds delicious. I think I'll grab one with my coffee. Do you work around here?
Yeah, just a few streets away. What about you?
I actually work remotely, but I like changing up my workspace, so I thought I'd try this cafe today.
Oh, that sounds nice. Working from a CAF must be a great way to stay productive and avoid distractions at home.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, good coffee helps. Speaking of which, I think that's my order. It was nice chatting with you.
You too. Enjoy your coffee.
And just like that, you've had a simple, natural small talk conversation. It doesn't have to be complicated, you just need a good opening line, a few follow-up questions, and a friendly attitude.
Exactly. And the key is to stay relaxed and open to conversation. The more you practice, the more confident you become.
Alright, let's try another scenario, this time, making small talk with a colleague at work. Okay, so now let's imagine you're at the office, maybe in the break room or before a meeting starts. How do you naturally start small talk with a colleague? James, let's act it out.
Sure, I'll be your colleague, and we're both grabbing coffee before a meeting.
Hey James, how's your morning going so far?
Oh, not too bad. Just catching up on emails before the big meeting. How about you?
Yeah, same here, trying to get through my inbox before things get too hectic. By the way, did you catch the football match last night?
Oh yeah, it was a great game. I didn't expect that last-minute goal. Do you watch often?
Not always, but I try to keep up when I can. It's fun to have something to chat about with everyone at work.
Absolutely. It's a great way to bond with colleagues. Speaking of which, are you joining the team lunch later?
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I might join. Where are you all heading?
I think we're trying that new Italian place down the street. Should be good.
That sounds great. I'll definitely come along then.
Perfect. All right. Let's grab our coffee and get ready for the meeting.
And just like that, a simple work conversation. These little interactions can make a big difference in building good relationships at work.
Exactly. The key is to find common ground. Sports, food, weekend plans. It doesn't have to be anything deep, just something to keep the conversation flowing.
Alright, let's set the scene. You're at a networking event. You've just grabbed a drink, and you find yourself standing next to someone you don't know. How do you start a conversation?
Good question. The easiest way is to comment on something relevant to the event. Let's act it out. You start.
Alright, pauses. Oh wow, this place is really packed tonight. Have you been to one of these events before?
Yeah, I've been to a couple, but this one seems livelier than usual. How about you?
It's actually my first time. I wasn't sure what to expect, but so far, it seems like a great opportunity to meet people.
Absolutely. What brought you here?
Well, I work in marketing, and I heard this was a great place to connect with others in the industry. What about you?
Same here. I work in digital advertising, so I figured I might meet some interesting people and pick up some new ideas.
That's great. Have you met anyone interesting so far?
Yeah, I just spoke to someone who runs a startup focused on AI-driven marketing. Really fascinating stuff. You should definitely meet her.
That sounds amazing. Thanks for the tip. I'd love to hear more about that. Oh, by the way, I'm Emma.
Nice to meet you, Emma. I'm James.
And just like that, you've made a professional connection.
Exactly. A simple observation, a question, and boom, you're in a conversation. No awkwardness, no stress.
Alright, let's do one final scenario. Making small talk with a neighbor or someone you see regularly, like at the gym or in a cafe.
Great idea. Small talk isn't just for networking events, it's also for everyday interactions that can help build connections.
Alright, let's imagine we're both regulars at a coffee shop, and we see each other often, but have never really talked. You start this time.
Sure. Pauses. Hey, I think I see you here almost every morning. You must be a big coffee fan.
Guilty as charged. I can't start my day without a cappuccino. What about you?
Same here, though I usually go for a black coffee, stronger kick to wake me up. Do you work nearby?
Yeah, just around the corner. It's kind of my ritual to grab a coffee before heading in. You?
Pretty much the same. It's funny how you start recognizing the regulars without even realizing it.
Exactly. I guess now we're officially more than just coffee shop strangers.
Haha. Yeah, by the way, I'm James.
Nice to meet you. James, I'm Emma.
See? That's another easy way to start a conversation. Point out something you have in common and let the conversation flow naturally.
Absolutely. And once the conversation starts, you can find more common ground. Maybe next time, you even sit at the same table and chat longer.
Exactly. So whether you're at a CAF, the gym, or waiting in line somewhere, small talk can be a great way to build connections.
Alright, let's go for one more. How about making small talk in an elevator with a colleague you don't know very well?
Good one. All right, let's set the scene. We're in an office building, and we just stepped into the elevator together. I'll start.
Go for it.
Morning. Looks like another busy day ahead, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Deadlines are piling up. How about you?
Same here. But at least it's Friday, almost the weekend.
True. Any fun plans for the weekend?
Thinking about a quick getaway to the countryside. What about you?
That sounds amazing. I'm just planning a quiet week and maybe catching up on some reading.
That sounds nice too. Sometimes a slow weekend is exactly what you need.
Exactly. Oh, looks like we've reached our floor. Have a great day.
You too. See you around.
And that's how easy it is. Just a quick exchange, keeping it light and natural.
Yeah, it's all about reading the situation and making small talk feel effortless rather than forced.
Right. And if you're ever stuck, remember, ask about the weather, the weekend, or something in your shared environment.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the more natural it feels. All right, so let's wrap this up. The key takeaway: small talk doesn't have to be scary. Just keep it light, natural, and focus on common topics like the weather, weekend plans, or your surroundings.
Absolutely. And remember, practice makes perfect. The more you engage in small talk, the easier and more natural it will become.
So, next time you're in an elevator, at a networking event, or even waiting in line for coffee, give it a try.
And don't stress too much about saying the perfect thing. Small talk is just about making friendly connections.
That's it for today's episode of British Accent Podcast. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review.
And let us know what's your go-to small talk topic. Drop us a message on social media, and we might feature your answer in the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.